Welcome back on the channel. Fabrizio Romano here as always to keep you posted on the transfer market. Always many news, many updates, many stories for you. Today it's plenty of transfer news, and so we jump into it together and we start immediately with one of the exclusive stories of the day. It's been a crazy 24 hours. I told you about Adeyemi, I will come back on that in a minute, but the other big breaking exclusive news is regarding Ederson. The Brazilian midfielder from Atalanta expected to join Manchester United, but then I told you over the last 7-10 days, let's wait for the medical check, let's wait for the medical test, let's wait for the next steps. And now we can say that Atalanta received a formal communication about Ederson deal being off. So Ederson to Manchester United is not happening. The communication has reached Atalanta today. The message coming from Atalanta is very clear. Atalanta message is, we got a communication that the deal for Ederson is off, is not happening, but also Atalanta insists, according to them, according to the club, Ederson is 100% fit, ready to play football, as he did with Brazil at the World Cup, and Atalanta consider they are more than happy to welcome back Ederson, to have the player at the club, 1 year left on his contract, so that's going to be a point, but at the same time, Atalanta convinced that Ederson is fit, ready to play football, and doesn't have any big medical, physical problem. On the other side, Manchester United want to do extra checks on the player, and they decided, after several sessions of medical tests, that Ederson deal has to be called off. So Ederson is not happening, and Andrei Santos is happening. Andrei Santos' medical was perfect. The player joins on 48 plus £2 million. Everything done, contract valid for 5 years plus 1 year option. And so Andrei Santos to Manchester United is 100% confirmed. And it's a here we go. So this is the Brazilian way for midfielders. As we are talking about Brazilians, as we are talking about midfielders, I also wanted to take a minute to discuss about João Gomes. João Gomes, because today it looks like the news went everywhere about João Gomes not going to Atletico Madrid. But the deal is not off today, guys, for João Gomes. The deal for João Gomes has been off for weeks. Already since the start of July, but end of June even, the deal for João Gomes is off. There were advanced negotiations, it's true, between Atletico Madrid and Wolves. The deal was very advanced, but was never done, and the deal has collapsed. So Atletico Madrid signed Morten Hjulmand as new midfielder, 40 million euros, 5 in advance, medical done, contract signed, here we go confirmed from Sporting. Alejandro Grimaldo, new left back, Kang-Jin Lee, new winger for Atletico Madrid, and so everything is ready for their 3 signings. At the moment, about João Gomes, the deal is considered cold and gone for long time. So these are the confirmations I can give you. João Gomes remains on the market because for level of the player he can't be in second division, in championship, in something not at the level of the player. So I'm sure there will be more movements around the player. There will be more movements around João Gomes in the next weeks, with new clubs going to reach out to Wolves and try to find a solution for him. At the same time, let's see what happens also for Ederson, because now the deal is off with Manchester United and we have to understand what's going to happen with other clubs. Let me clarify one thing. Many of you are telling me, Fabrizio, on Ederson, Man United sources say that the deal is not off. Man United are still fighting to sign Ederson. Guys, I can let them say whatever they want. Anyone has his own information. I respect Man United. I respect other journalists. I tell you what I know, and what I know exclusively is Atalanta received a communication from the club tonight saying that Ederson is not going to Manchester United. That's what happens, and that's the story. Then I don't know when will be made clear on every side of the story, but that's what I'm hearing. Then guys, more to tell you about Barcelona. It's been the day of the exclusive story. Karim Adeyemi to Barca, here we go, 22 million euros, 7 in advance, sell on close for Borussia Dortmund. Karim Adeyemi on Wednesday will be in Barcelona, time for medical test, contract signing. So Karim Adeyemi signs a 5-year contract at Barcelona and is going to fulfill his dream, because he only wanted to go to Barca, was his dream, as I told you, to go to Barcelona. So all done, and Barcelona have one more offensive player after Anthony Gordon. But who could leave Barcelona this summer? Because Marcus Rashford returned to Manchester United. And we know that Marcus Rashford deal with Barcelona is not advancing. Rashford is now at the World Cup. After the World Cup, Rashford will return to Carrington and will be available for Michael Carrick. So as I told you, I think it was 10 days ago, Rashford will start the pre-season with Manchester United under Michael Carrick. Then, if a good proposal arrives, he can still leave Manchester United. Otherwise, he can be part of the squad. That's the situation for Marcus Rashford. Then, on Barcelona, many questions. What happens with Raphinha? For Raphinha, there is a club obsessed with him, and it's Al Hilal. Al Hilal want to bring Raphinha to Saudi, but at the moment, Raphinha's desire is to stay at Barcelona. Raphinha, at the moment, is still fully focused on Barcelona. So that's the situation. Then, if later on in the summer, this situation is going to change, and in any moment, Raphinha could say he opens doors to Saudi, I will come here and tell you. As of today, Raphinha is focused on Barcelona. We have to see what's going to happen also with Ferran Torres. 1 year left on his contract at Barcelona, and Paris Saint-Germain, behind the scenes, calling for Ferran Torres. Paris Saint-Germain are talking with the agents of the player. Paris Saint-Germain are interested in Ferran Torres. He could be a backup option after Gonzalo Ramos left to cover several positions, number 9, winger. So Ferran Torres is an option for Paris Saint-Germain. Not the only one, but there are talks with his agents. So there is movement on several players, and we have to follow all of these. Also Rooney Bargi, to understand if he's going to stay or going to leave. But someone with Adeyemi arriving and Anthony Gordon arriving, apart from Rashford, someone else could leave. Eventually, Barcelona in this summer transfer window. And then, guys, to go to the end of this video, Alejandro Garnacho, because the story I told you yesterday and today in all my videos is about Garnacho leaving Chelsea, and then Garnacho and Roma. In the last video at the very end I told you about this. Now the story is everywhere, but on Garnacho and Roma I can tell you one thing. Roma are considering the possibility to go for Alejandro Garnacho, but Roma are only considering an initial loan deal for Garnacho, not a permanent transfer. Chelsea, as of today, are only opening doors to a permanent transfer for the Argentinian winger. So now it's going to be up to all parties involved, or at some point Roma decide to invest on Garnacho big and to give a guaranteed obligation to buy, or some different formula. Or, at the same time, Chelsea could change their mind on how to let Garnacho leave. So we have to see what happens. There are more clubs, not only Roma, but for sure Roma are involved. Roma want Garnacho, Roma wanted Mason Greenwood, but Greenwood is not happening. And so Roma have genuine interest in Alejandro Garnacho and also in Diego Moreira from Strasbourg, another player appreciated by Roma. So Roma are looking for wingers. Meanwhile, at Chelsea, the situation of Garnacho remains open. Chelsea are ready to let Garnacho go. Chelsea are ready to part ways with Garnacho after just 1 season at the club. And so Alejandro Garnacho leaving Chelsea is something really serious and concrete. I can add one thing. Garnacho is also open to joining Roma. Garnacho is not creating problems about the move. You remember a few years ago there was Napoli interested, the player was not opening the doors when he was at Man United. Now he's at Chelsea and he's opening doors to Roma. So let's follow the situation, let's see the story, but for sure it's going to be very interesting to follow. Guys, on this and much more, remember to like this video, turn on the notification bell, subscribe to the channel, and see you soon here as every single day with Fabrizio.